Hello you guys, and welcome to a really fun video. One of you guys actually gave me the idea for this video, so thank you if it was you. But I'm going to be sharing 2024 new releases by Black authors. I already shared a video that has 2023 releases, and I actually purchased a lot of those throughout the year. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing, I think, 14 different videos by Black authors. So make sure you subscribe because there's new videos every single day for all of Bookmas. And let's get into all of the rec. The first 2024 new release that I'm really excited about is called One of Our Kind by Nicola Yoon, and I actually have this book in an ARC form, so I'm really grateful for this book. This is actually her first adult novel. She's written a lot of younger books. The Sun Is Also a Star, Everything Everything, loved Everything Everything, such a great book. And this is supposed to be like Stepford Wives meets Get Out, and so it's supposed to be kind of I don't know, a thriller in a way, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm definitely bumping it to the top of my TBR. I really like to read books by the same authors, but I kind of get nervous when I read books that are different by the same author. She normally writes happy, fluffy, fun reads. So this will be an exciting one for me, and I'll definitely make sure that I vlog or share this in a vlog. On the front it says, "Dear friends, there's a certain kind of story that lies in wait until its chosen author is ready to tell it. For me, Jasmine's story is one of those. I'm grateful that One of Our Kind is now finally in your hands, and I can't wait to hear what you think. Yours truly, Nicola Yoon." And it says final cover to be revealed, but the actual cover is now revealed, as you guys can see. So I'm really excited for this one. The next book that I'm most excited about, and I think that this is literally my most exciting release for 2024, is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. You guys know I have been obsessed with Kennedy Ryan's writing. In my recent video that was end of the year wrap up, I shared 23 books that were books that I was obsessed with throughout the year, and I shared Kennedy Ryan's books. I've read 3 so far, but I shared them saying that she's pretty much one of my favorite authors as of right now, and I rated Before I Let Go 5 stars. And This Could Be Us is the second book in the series, and the series is called the Skyland series. And this is supposed to be about Soledad's story, and in the first book you actually get a little taste of Soledad and what her life is like. And I think she's a stay-at-home mom to 2 little girls, but she has a really rough relationship with her husband. You don't really know what happens behind the scenes, but in this book it seems like her life kind of falls apart and she has to rebuild it on her own, as kind of a mother who doesn't really know what she's doing because she has relied solely on her husband for so long. So this is going to be a really good one, and at the end of this little blurb it says, "After all she's lost and found, can she be brave enough to make room for what could be?" And I think this book is supposed to be a lot about finding yourself. It says, "For fans of Tia Williams and Colleen Hoover comes a deeply moving and personal novel about sacrifice, self-reliance, and finding true happiness from one of the finest romance writers of our age." And that was from Entertainment Weekly. And then Emily Henry, she also gave a little blurb, and it says, "Heart-searing, sensual, and life-affirming." So that's all I need to know. This is definitely the book I'm most excited about, and I feel like a book you guys have probably heard about, and if you haven't, you need to pre-order it now. Pardon My Frenchie is a book that comes out, and this is by the author who wrote, I want to say The Boyfriend Project or something like that. I think that's what it's called. And this is supposed to be a good one. It comes out in June of 2024, and a lot of these books come out either early or middle part of the year, so just keep that in mind, but I will link them all below. I haven't read anything by this author, but I've heard great things about her writing. Her writing's supposed to be just fluffy and fun, and this says that her books deliver the start of a new rom-com vibe that gives enemies to lovers romance, and is perfect for readers of Abby Jimenez and Jasmine Guillory. It's about Ashanti, and she owns a doggy daycare, and she has a dog named I don't actually know the name of the dog, but it is a French bulldog, and I guess it's best friends with this poodle, and she posts their videos and stuff on Instagram, and everyone loves the little friendship between the 2 dogs. And then this guy Thad, who is not a dog person, ends up having to take the poodle out of the doggy daycare because his grandma ends up going into, I think, a nursing facility, and she wants someone to care for the dog. And so Ashanti's just sad because she's the poodle's not going to come around anymore. I'm so sad. And it seems that they kind of have an enemies to lovers situation because she tries to meet up and get the dogs to continue to be friends, and he doesn't want that because he's not a dog person. So it's very much doggish, and I think that that'll be fun. I also love love the cover of this. It's very like girly and pink, and I feel like those are my favorite types of covers. This book looks so cute, and I actually recently found this book, so I don't know how many people are like talking about this, but it's about a girl who, she's 16, and it seems like I guess I can just like read the little blurb because I don't know like a ton about it, but I'm pretty sure it's about a girl who's like never dated before, and she like fake dates with this guy or something to like get better at dating. She's 16, and it says that she's like a late bloomer. She's never had a boyfriend, a date, or first kiss, and she's determined to change that after her crush turns her down for homecoming, declaring her too inexperienced and all her backup ideas fall through. So she cautiously agrees to go with her best friend's boyfriend, Jacob. A platonic date is better than no date, right? Until her friend breaks up with said boyfriend. Dumped twice in 2 months, Jacob wonders if he's the problem, and after years hiding behind his camera and a shocking summer glow-up, he wasn't quite ready for all the attention or to be someone's boyfriend. There are no guides for his particular circumstances or for taking your ex's best friend to the dance. Why not make the best of an awkward situation? Bethany and Jacob decide to fake date for practice, building her confidence in matters of the heart. And it works. Guys are finally noticing Bethany, but things get complicated as their kissing sessions, for research of course, start to feel real. This arrangement was supposed to help them in dating other people, but what if their perfect match is right in front of them? This author normally does not write YA, and I'm pretty sure that this is a young adult, this is a young adult book. And it's only 304 pages, which I think is cute. But it says that the book is for, it's YA, and it's for people who love Nicola Yoon's writing, or Jenny Han's writing, who she wrote The Summer I Turned Pretty. No, she wrote To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's easy to get like authors and their books mixed up, but very much YA, like coming of age vibes. But this author, this is very interesting. She wrote the book like Rafe, I think that's what it's called. I have not read it, but it's on my TBR, and that's actually a book about a male nanny, and there's like spice in it and stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see how she's able to create like a YA novel. But I've heard great things about other books that she's written. I literally have one on my TBR. She also wrote another book, and I can't even think of the name. It's called Zenny, and it's a marriage of inconvenience book, and it's in the Loose Ends series, which is the second book after Rafe, which is the book about the male nanny. So I'm excited to read this book. I feel like it'll be fun to jump into a different type of style. I love that authors are getting really creative with the style of their books and they're not just sticking to one thing. I think this one will be a fun one. This is a debut author, and it's really interesting because there's so much buzz around this book already, but it's called When I Think of You, and I'm just gonna read the blurb because I don't really know like exactly what this book's about. But it says, in the sweeping second chance romance from debut author, the unexpected spark of two former flames may force them to choose between their dreams and each other. Kayla Wilson has paid her dues, but all the years behind the reception desk at a flashy film studio have only pushed her movie-making dreams further out of reach. That is, until a surprise reunion presents an opportunity that could make her career or break her heart a second time. It's been 7 years since Kayla's whirlwind college romance with Danny Prescott went up in flames. While her passions have stalled, his career is taking off, so when the hotshot director reappears to offer her a job on his next production, it's a shock to the system. Working with Danny may recapture the intensity of their film school days, but trusting him again won't come as easily. As the pair allows themselves to openness and vulnerability to entrust their deepest truths to each other, the possibility of a true connection draws ever closer. But when Hollywood politics and scandal threaten to sink the production and her career, Kayla may have to risk everything to do what's right, even if it means letting go of the second chance love of a lifetime. That sounds so cute, and I've never read anything from this author, obviously, because she is like, it's her debut book, but I love when books just have like a really interesting concept, and I feel like second chance romances are always really fun. A Little Kissing Between Friends is a book that also comes out next year, and it's by the same author who wrote Devon and Chris Plan a Wedding, which so many of you guys have said is good, and I actually have it on my TBR because you guys have said that it's such a good book. It's a queer read as well, and I feel like there needs to just be like more, I don't know, we need to share more like diverse reads, especially by Black authors, because I feel like whenever I search for books by Black authors that are just like very diverse in relationships, it is very hard to find. They're out there, but we just need to talk about it more, you know? So this is a really exciting read for me because I've never read anything from this author, but so many of you have said Devon and Chris Plan a Wedding is great, so I feel like this will also be great as well. It comes out in May, and this is a book that I'm pretty sure is about friends who just like hook up and then they kind of become like more than that, but I don't think they expected to have more than just like a friends with benefits type situation. I'm not 100% sure because I still haven't really like fully read the blurb yet, but I will link the book below if you guys want to read like the whole blurb yourself. This looks like a really good one, and the cover is just so freaking cute. Elise Bryant is one of my favorite authors, and I think I like her books because they're normally like happy, fluffy, easy like reads. But I think that this is supposed to be a very different book than what she normally writes. It's called It's Elementary, and it comes out in August. And it's about Mavis, who's not a PTA mom, but I guess she ends up kind of getting into like a little argument with one of the PTA moms who I think is like very overzealous, and her name is Trisha. And they kind of like get into it, but Mavis, it seems that she just like tries so hard to make sure her daughter has like the best life possible, but she is just like working multiple jobs. She's helping in a nonprofit. Like she is tired. And so she ends up seeing Trisha at night with yellow rubber gloves and booties, lugging cleaning supplies in a giant black trash bag to her minivan. And so of course her mind jumps to conclusions as to like what's going on, like 'cause she's lugging it out of the school. And then the next day, Principal Smith is missing. So Mavis, she ends up kind of like trying to figure out what happened. And I think this is supposed to be like a mystery. It says, brilliantly written, It's Elementary is a quick-witted escapist romp that perfectly captures just how far parents will go to give their kids the very best, all wrapped in a mystery that will leave you guessing till the very end. Alyssa Cole wrote the book called When No One Is Watching, and that is a thriller. And I'm really excited for this one because this is her second thriller, but the other book has such high ratings. Like I literally, it's on my list to read, but I haven't read it yet. And I'm just gonna read this blurb. It says, years after a breakdown and a diagnosis of dissociative identity disorder derailed her historical preservationist career, Kenitra Nash and her alters have been given a second chance they can't refuse, a position as resident caretaker of a historic home. Having been dormant for years, Ken has no idea what led them to this isolated Hudson River island, but she's determined not to ruin their opportunity. Then a surprise visit from the Home's Conservation Trust, just as a nor'easter bears down on the island, disrupts her newfound life, leaving Ken trapped with a group of possibly dangerous strangers, including the man who brought her life tumbling down years earlier. When he turns up dead, Ken is the prime suspect. Caught in a web of secrets and in a race against time, Ken and her alters must band together to prove their innocence and discover the truth of Kavanaugh Island and their own past, or they risk losing not only their future, but their life. This book has a unique concept, and it is another debut book. It's called Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton, and it's about a risk-averse woman named Amari who she like has a lot going on in her life. She's not really making a ton of money because she's jobless and she's newly single. She's about to lose her apartment, and she runs into this guy and they kind of like, I don't know, go at it. He's a little annoying to her and she ends up spilling her coffee on him. But while that's happening, another guy shows up at the coffee shop and it's her ex-boyfriend. And he's like, oh, like what's going on? Like how's life? And of course her life's like bad. So she's like, oh, this is my new boyfriend. Yeah, he's not her boyfriend. So they end up fake dating so that the boyfriend can show his family that he has like a girlfriend, and then in exchange for that she ends up getting a place to live. So she lives with him. It looks really good, and I guess they do that for 3 months, but then of course during that time they start to have feelings for each other. I feel like this is gonna be a good one. This book is pretty easily explained because it's literally about a house party, and it just follows like a bunch of friends that are going to a house party and at a house party, and they all have different lives, and it seems like it's gonna be wild because the party is at a mansion, like a mega mansion, and there's popular people, there's artists, there's jocks, there's all different types of people that are there, and it looks good. It says House Party offers a delightful snapshot of diverse classmates getting ready to say goodbye to high school and hello to life's next chapter, but not before they make their final night together, one they'll never forget. This is my second most anticipated book of the year because I love Danielle Allen's writing. I read Continuum and literally fell in love with her writing. She just has a lot of dialogue in her books, which makes them super easy to read. And this is called Curvy Girl Summer, and it says a smoking hot, hilarious novel about the perils of online dating. And Aaliyah, she's determined to have a boyfriend by her 30th birthday. And after a failed blind date, the local bartender suggests she joins a dating app. So she goes on a bunch of dates, and there's catfishing, there's fetishizing, there's just the wild world of online dating, and you get to see like all the perils of that. And it says that Aaliyah thinks she's in over her head, and she is, but with her two best friends and a protected bartender by her side, what could go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong, and that's the problem because as Aaliyah is set on finding exactly what she's looking for, she ends up finding something she never expects. I also love a concise like synopsis of a book. Like this is so easy to explain and understand, and it says that if you really like Insecure, the show, that you would also like this book. If you haven't read Continuum by Danielle Allen, please go read it. It was a 4-star read for me and I really loved it. So this is definitely my second most anticipated read. This is another book about online dating, but it's very different, and it's called The Good Ones Are Taken by Taj McCoy, and it's a romance novel, and it says when Maggie's best friend admits he's in love with her, she'll have to decide whether it's worth giving up something good for something that could be amazing in this laugh out loud friends to lovers rom-com. So right off the bat, you know that her best friend's going to fall for her and admit her feelings, and it's all about Maggie, who she's like looking for Prince Charming, and she gets out of a bad breakup, so she's like, I'm gonna go online date. And while she's doing that, her best friend Garrett is like, you know what, I'm into you, like I care about you, please be with me. So she has to decide, like, is it worth making the risk? Does she have feelings for him as well? I think this is an interesting read. It's, I don't know, I feel like it's giving rom-com vibes for sure, and I love a good friends to lovers story, so I'm excited for this one too. I genuinely do not even know what a love song for Ricky Wilde is actually about, but I know that it's written by Tia Williams, and I love Tia Williams' writing. She wrote the book 7 Days in June, and her books give very much like, I don't know, like the books that you would read if you're an adult, if that makes sense. Like they're usually in the fiction section because they do have a heavy subplot of romance, but also there's like growth and learning and like lots of other things in the books as well. And this says, this enchanting love story from the New York Times bestselling author of 7 Days in June is about a free-spirited florist and a musician, and they're irreversibly linked through the history of art and magic in Harlem. And that alone literally has gotten me excited for this book. The Partner Plot is another book I'm excited about, and it's about two former high school sweethearts, and they get a second chance in this marriage of convenience romance. And Christina Forrest wrote The Neighbor Favor, which her books are just so good. I've read I think 2 or 3 of her books. They never get old, and I feel like this will be a good one. At the end of this like little blurb, because it's pretty long, so go like read it if you want to. It says, are their lives too different to stick it through, or will they finally get a happy ending? And that is all of the books that I most like, and wow, I literally can't talk because I'm so excited. Those are all of the 2024 most anticipated reads. If you guys want to shop any of those, I will link them all below. Most of them come out in like February, March, or like in the summer. There aren't a ton that come out end of the year, which is kind of nice because I feel like they're coming out sooner. I swear everything is being released like, I don't know, February, March. So make sure you subscribe because there'll be another video tomorrow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.